The tower stood alone at the edge of the industrial district. It rose above warehouses and storage yards, a tall steel skeleton with red warning lights blinking slowly along its height. At its base sat a small control building, surrounded by a chain-link fence and scattered equipment crates that looked like they'd been abandoned. Radio towers are strange landmarks. You can see them from almost anywhere, but being right underneath one makes you feel exposed in a way that's hard to explain. We approached along a narrow service road, using parked utility trucks and storage containers for cover. The evening wind whistled through the tower's metal frame, making it hum softly above us like a giant tuning fork. Our task was to secure the control building and check the tower platform halfway up, where maintenance was usually performed. We entered through a bent section of fencing and moved toward the control building first. The door was hanging open slightly, swaying with each gust of wind. Inside, dusty consoles and broken monitors filled the room, wires hanging loose from the ceiling. It looked empty. Then the radio on my vest crackled with static. Not a transmission, just a sudden burst of interference that faded as quickly as it appeared. Everyone froze, listening. The tower hummed louder above us, its metal braces creaking as the wind pushed against them. We stepped back outside to check the ladder that ran up the center of the tower frame. It stretched straight upward through open steel beams, disappearing into the fading light. Halfway up, a maintenance platform wrapped around the tower, cluttered with antennas and signal boxers. That's when the first shot came. It cracked downward from the platform, striking the ground near the base of the ladder and sending gravel spraying across our boots. We dropped behind equipment crates and utility boxes instantly, scanning the tower structure for movement. The shadow shifted between the antenna frames above. I leaned around a crate and fired controlled bursts toward the platform supports, forcing whoever was there to duck. Then shots came from the control building behind us. A side door burst open and gunfire snapped through the doorway, catching us between the tower and the structure we had just cleared. The open yard suddenly felt twice as exposed. Radio calls stayed sharp and steady. Hold tower base, watch building entry. Maintain crate cover. I shifted along the equipment crates, using their metal frames to block angles. The tower amplified every sound. Each shot echoed upward through the steel beams and came back down as a hollow metallic ring. The red warning lights above blinked steadily, giving brief flashes of movement across the platform. The exchange stretched into minute bursts of fire, followed by tense pauses filled with wind in the tower. Then, the shots from the tower slowed before stopping completely. Moments later, sharp metallic impacts echoed from higher up the frame, followed by the sound of loose equipment rattling across the platform. The building resistance faded shortly after. We held our positions, watching. The wind returned to its steady whistle through the steel frame. When we finally cleared the building and checked the platform, the yard returned to stillness. As we moved back toward the service road, I looked up at the tower one last time. The red lights blinked slowly against the darkening sky. That tower stayed with me because of how exposed everything felt. There was no real place to hide, only angles and distance. And when the noise finally faded, the steady blinking lights and humming steel made the silence feel even deeper than before. Thanks for listening.